Hello and welcome to Mining Review Africa, and we are at DRC Mining Week 2026, and right now I'm chatting to Vusi Mpofo of Equity BCDC. Vusi, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Gerald. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now let me start by asking you, how does Equity BCDC support the different stakeholders across the mining value chain?
That's a very important question. So as Equity BCDC, the bank provides full-end solutioning into the mining sector. Of course, we bank across the whole economy, but in DRC in particular, mining is a very key focus sector, particularly in Outskatanga province and Lualaba. We have a very strong presence, ranking number 1, number 2 within the mining sector in DRC over a long period of time, but it's not sufficient just to provide the funding or the capital that is required to make mining effective. So we take a value chain approach, an ecosystem approach, where we're able to spread our financial solutioning beyond just the mines themselves, but to their suppliers through a variety of solutions like supply chain finance, able to do the asset-backed finance for the suppliers into the mines as well, and obviously cascading that down through to all the different segments within the mining sector.
Okay. Now, how does the bank contribute to the growth and, most importantly, the sustainability of the mining sector in the DRC?
So in terms of our contribution, I think everybody recognizes that mining in the DRC is a very high growth sector for the country. It's very important, and we take a partnership approach in everything that we do. As financiers, our contribution is to be able to support the capital life cycle within the sector across segments, not just for your big corporates, but at all the different levels, going all the way down to artisanal small-scale mining, where we will collaborate with the different cooperative bodies, with the Chamber of Mines, and all the particular stakeholders. So the contribution of the bank goes beyond just the provision of financial solutions, but our participation at every different part of that whole ecosystem. We've funded projects from greenfields all the way up to maturity, and I think that's an important posture to take, as opposed to just participating for mature operational first copper achieved projects. We're able to support even at the earlier phases, as long, of course, there is a credible business case, all your good things like your proven resources, and we know that we're actually funding operators who have a good track record and have been able to deliver projects in the past.
Okay. Now, Vusi, let's look at the mining value chain. What opportunities do you see for local businesses to benefit more from mining value chains?
When we look at the mining value chain, mines by their very nature are going to be it's a primary industry. Let me start there rather. So there are only 2 primary industries. That's going to be agriculture, and mining is going to be the second one. What that means is that the responsibility from a mining perspective is that it just gives us a platform. It's a base for the beginning, and there are ancillary activities that then develop around mining, for instance. So when we talk about local opportunities, mines consume a lot of other services.
Yep.
From a people perspective, from logistics perspective, different elements that make sure that the mine is able to operate effectively. You know, if I can make an example, for instance, a lot of the big operations end up setting up different projects within the community from an agri perspective to be able to supply into the particular mine. And if you look at the DRC as a geography, it's it's got a very big infrastructure deficit, for instance. So you look at that and you know that as much insourcing as can happen is probably the way to go. So of course there's that from the local community perspective, but when you push it forward into the infrastructure element, you know that we can we can support different industries in the energy sector to be able to help and bridge that gap from an energy perspective. And we do know that this is a long-term project, because of course the PVs are not going to be able to solve the problems. We know that we've got to wait for a more stable and consistent power supply as well. So we really look at all those different elements, and all those present opportunities, but at the focus, at the center of it all, is absolutely the mining, because that's where the revenue case or the investment case for all these other things finds its genesis.
Absolutely, and Avusi, you've correctly pointed out that a mine doesn't start overnight. It's a long process. So when it comes to Equity BCDC, what is your vision for supporting the future development of the DRC's mining sector?
So in terms of the vision that we are part of a vision that the country has for being able to develop its mining sector. And the important part is that we've got to be able to make hay while the sun shines as copper and cobalt in the DRC. The good thing is that we know that for the next 5 years we've got the pricing support. The commodity is going to be well supported in terms of pricing because of the deficit within the market. We know we're in a space where these critical minerals are going to be key to what we all ultimately want to see from the green endeavor and the decarbonization glide path. So for sure, we want to be able to play our critical part in that. And that's what we've been doing. When we say that we've been able to deploy 1.4 billion of assets into the market, $1.4 billion into the market in the DRC alone, this is something that we're replicating in all our subsidiary areas of presence, whether it's in Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, South Sudan, or Rwanda. Equity is actually trying to be a transformative element within the Eastern Central African region. So in terms of the vision for DRC, absolutely, we've got to be able to facilitate the extraction of the mineral in as responsible a way as possible, but we've got to have that developmental agenda which is obvious for the DRC as well. So it's not just about funding into the mines, but making sure that the growth and prosperity of those mines is shared across the community and for the benefit of the country as a whole.
Obviously, it's great to hear about Equity's commitment to the DRC mining sector. Thank you for your insights and for joining us on Mining Review Africa today.
Thank you very much, Gerard. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.